something that I've been exploring lately is how substances can affect your intuition. And I have experienced that throughout my life a lot, and it kept me stuck in relationships that didn't serve me, and it stopped me from seeing things that I needed to see. And I wanted to share this with you guys because I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with substances. I think that they all have a place in this earth, and that they can be quite powerful tools for transformation, and they can really help shift your perspective. But it's when you start to rely on them, when your emotions become unsettled, that's when you fall into a bit of a trap. Because you start to think that the only way for you to relax or the only way for you to feel better is by taking a substance to make that happen. And I have talked about a relationship that I was in for about 5 years, and a big part of our relationship and a reason why I moved on from it was substance abuse. And in the beginning it was MDMA, a lot of MDMA on the weekends, and then weed, like a lot of weed, and I often found that when I would break up with him, I would come off all of the substances because there wasn't this nagging feeling that I was in the wrong place or with the wrong person. And then when we would get back together, it was very quick for me to start using again, because I think my intuition was trying to tell me this guy isn't right for you, and there's something better for you out there that's more aligned with where you're headed. But because I didn't want to let go of him, and because I loved him, and not only that, there was all these other reasons, like I didn't have enough self-confidence. I felt like I belonged, like when we were together I felt like I had a place to belong, and because I liked to care for him, I liked to do things for him, and it gave me like a sense of purpose and like a sense of recognition and all of that kind of thing. And so I would use substances to sort of override my intuition so that I could stay comfortable. And sometimes being comfortable isn't so comfortable. Sometimes you actually want more, but you're willing to settle for something less because you're scared of the unknown, or you're scared of what might happen if you let go, or that you won't find something better, or that you're doing the wrong thing. And substance kept me in that relationship for far longer than I needed to be. There would be times when I would come off the weed. I would stop smoking it for about 6 weeks, and he would continue smoking it. And that's quite a challenge for somebody especially when you've got that empathic ability to feel other people's emotions. And I notice with myself, I do feel other people's physical pain. And so when I am with somebody who has addiction, if I'm not mindful of it, then I can confuse their addiction with my own cravings. But I'm not saying that it's all on me. It was definitely, I definitely had my own reasons for using the drug, and that was because I felt my intuition was kicking in, but I wasn't consciously aware that it was intuition. I think I was subconsciously aware that it was my intuition, but on a conscious level, I didn't want to recognize that, and so I just put it down to cravings and, being young and being like, oh, fuck it, let's just do whatever. But those times when I would stop for like 6 weeks, and then something would happen where I would have a bad day, or I would feel emotional about something, which didn't happen anywhere near as often as when I used to smoke. He would then offer me some weed to help calm me down, even though he knew that I had been off it for about 6 weeks. And that was about him noticing how different I was when I wasn't smoking. And that was, I would go exercise, I would go and hang out with people other than him, and I would start to excel in my life again. And because he wasn't ready to let go of the substance, it was potentially him subconsciously wanting me to come back to his level so that I didn't leave him, or so that it didn't highlight the things in his life that maybe needed to be changed. And I'm sure so many people can relate to that, because there are so many relationships out there that are codependent, but also that involve substance abuse. And I really don't judge anyone for any substance abuse, because I have had so much of it myself, and I really have a lot of compassion for how much it can become a part of your identity. But I also want to let you know that you don't need it. You really don't need it to feel good in yourself. And I used to think to myself, I don't know how I'm ever going to stop, because I so heavily relied on it for a lot of my life. Like, I started smoking weed when I was 15. I lived in a very Christian family home, and so I wasn't able to really get my addictions going until I left home. But any chance that I would get, I would be abusing substances, because I found relief in that. And to be honest, I do not regret a single thing, because it's made me the person that I am today. But I am in such a good place now without the substance. And you can be too. You don't have to continue using it to feel whole or to feel calm. And your body becomes addicted to it, and that only takes 3 days to get your body over the physical addiction, because your cells are very adaptable, and when you keep introducing substance to your body, your cells will hold on to that, and after about 3 days, most every drug will be out of your system, and the cells of your body won't be addicted to it anymore. But what does stay addicted is that emotional dependence on the drug. But when you start to understand intuition, like for example, if you're in the same situation that I was in, where you're overriding your intuition because you know you need to leave a relationship, for example, the intuition is there as an indicator. It's not how you're going to be the whole time when you stop using substance, because it's only showing you that you may be in the wrong spot right now. But if you follow your intuition, and if you move to a different perspective, or you move to a different relationship, or you become single and you start to clear out the things that are bothering you, or even just receiving intuition about why they're bothering you. Maybe it's not that you need to leave a relationship. Maybe you're the only one using substance in the relationship. Maybe it's more about, there's so many things that your intuition is trying to tell you. But if you are constantly numbing that and pushing that away, how are you ever going to get the guidance that is trying to get you to go somewhere that's better for you? It's not there to punish you, and it's not there to stay. You can move past negative emotion. And I didn't know how I was going to handle being alive on this earth for as long as I have been, with the intensity of the emotions that I used to feel. They were so intense, and they were always relieved every time I took a drug. And well, not always, like sometimes you abuse it so much that the drug starts to not even be effective anymore. That definitely happened to me a bunch of times, which is an awful feeling when you think that the one thing that makes you feel better no longer works. It's terrifying. It's like, fuck, what do I do now? Holy shit, I feel terrible. And that was the one thing that fixed it, and now it's not working because I've abused it so much. And like, your health and it affects your health, and your health is, the healthier you feel, the better you feel in your body, and the better you feel in every way. And focusing on your health is never a waste of time. And I think that's a big reason why I ended up stopping, because my health was starting to take such a big turn. I was coughing all the time. my sleep was disturbed, my mood. Like, substance abuse will increase your depression. It will, it might temporarily numb you, but when you can't be, some people are high all the time, but a lot of us keep functioning, and so we have to go to work and all that kind of thing, and so you can't be high like 100% of the time. So there's going to be times when you're not going to be able to get the drug, and that's the same for everyone. And so you need to be able to find some sort of peace, some sort of relief from your emotions. And the best way that I found that was to not ignore them, because they do stack up. They're not going away. They need to be expressed. They need to be listened to. And sometimes if you don't listen to your emotions and you keep pushing them down, that's when they start to manifest as physical illness. Because disease, when you look at the word, is dis-ease, which means you're out of that easy feeling. You're not feeling easy about life. And disease is just from being chronically diseased. Like, it's chronic negative emotion not being expressed, not being listened to, not being alchemized. And alchemization is about turning something heavy and leaden into something golden and light. And if you're not processing these emotions, and if you're not actually listening to your intuition, which is being expressed to you through your emotions, then it will build up. And this is how some people get cancer. They may not have expected or worried about getting cancer, so they didn't think that they manifested it because they never focused on it. But the fact that they had all this chronic emotion for so long can manifest in pretty big illnesses like cancer and broken bones. I believe every illness that your body experiences is first and foremost energetically signaling that you are energetically out of alignment. And so it's not always about what people think. Like, even a broken bone, that bone wouldn't have been able to break or you wouldn't have attracted a situation to break that bone unless there was a weakness in that energetic part of your body, because every part of your body has a different energetic representation. For example, the lungs are very much about grief, and the large intestine is very much about the ability to let go, and also about grief. The lungs and the large intestine are connected. And so for me, I was grieving. I was when I was smoking, and a lot of smokers, I think that's why people associate smoking with negative vibration, because you don't generally smoke unless you have some negative feelings going on that you need to alchemize. And I definitely experienced all of those feelings, and you can find peace without the drug. Now, the best way for you to come off a drug is by first acknowledging that you don't need it, but second, you don't have to do it right away. You can start to soften those beliefs in your mind that say that it's not possible, because it is. It's entirely possible. And that's why sometimes people need to quit something multiple times before they completely sort of get a hold of that, because it's like they're proving to themselves that it's possible to come off of it. And the more times they prove to themselves that it's possible to live without this drug, then the more that they're going to be able to trust that it's possible. So I always tell people that are going through it, never stop trying to find relief away from substance. And you don't have to call it quitting. You don't have to give it a big broad statement like, I'm never going to touch it again. Like, for example, I for many years smoked loads and loads of weed, but now I can still smoke weed. I've just got to know to put it down, and I've got to know when to smoke it. Like, I never allow myself to smoke anymore to get out of a bad mood, because I don't want to ignore what that bad mood is trying to tell me. And that's the most powerful part of this message that I'm trying to convey, is that your moods are valuable information. So if you are overriding that valuable information and not taking what it's trying to tell you, it's going to feel uncomfortable, and if you override it with substances, then you're going to miss the point, and you're not going to be able to move forward in life in the way that you could if you were listening to your emotions and if you were getting guidance from your inner being. But for me, I didn't actually know what the emotions were for. I just thought that I was feeling bad all the time, and I found a drug and I was like, oh, this relieves it, awesome. And that was as simple as it got. But as I've been getting older, and as I have all the times that I've spent completely sober for months and months and months at a time, I can see how much better I feel, because I'm no longer staying stuck in situations or in relationships because I'm not listening to my intuition, which is telling me this isn't serving you anymore. You need to move on. And I just wanted to let you guys know that it is entirely possible to let go of something that no longer serves you, to find relief without a substance. And I'm talking about every substance. I know a lot of people drink alcohol every day. I don't recommend that, because generally people only drink alcohol at the end of the day, right? Because they had a busy day and they're really stressed by the end of the day. But if you are teaching your body that you can only find relief by having a drink at the end of the day, then you're never gonna, you're going to start to associate relaxation with drinking, and that's when the substance abuse becomes problematic, because then you feel like they're just two of the same thing. Alcohol equals relaxation, and no alcohol equals no relaxation. And it's the same with any drug, whatever you're using. It's you don't show yourself that you can relax without it. Show yourself that you can feel negative emotion and take the lesson from what it's trying to show you, and shift yourself. Show yourself that you have the ability to mold your mood without substance, because that's what substance does, right? It molds your mood into something different, and it gives you a fresh and new perspective, but it doesn't really feel so fresh because it's substance. But I've used mushrooms as well. Mushrooms are a fantastic tool, but I even started to abuse mushrooms a few years ago because I was really enjoying all the insights that I was getting, and then I kind of got dependent on it as well. So any drug can be beneficial, but any drug can be detrimental as well. I truly believe that. And so you need to use your guidance. But I know I used to just quickly use a drug so that I wouldn't have to listen to the little part of me was like, you don't need to use it. And I'm like, quickly smoke before that thought gets any further. But if any of you are having trouble with substance abuse and you want some guidance, I do offer one-on-one coaching sessions, and we can work through some things together. And you don't have to be clean to start working on yourself. A lot of my inner work was done when I was still using substances, and I don't think that I would have been able to come off of that unless I had started learning about the laws of the universe, and learning how powerful your mind is, and learning that you can live without substance.